Hello everyone and welcome to today's Daily Splat. Now today I thought it would be nice if I made another recommendation to you. Obviously, sometimes with these videos I just go on and on and on, and sometimes I think it'd be nice if I was actually helpful. It's another one of those podcast recommendations again for your iPhone or other MP3 devices are available. Yes, as you're all aware, I listen to far too many of these, as I've mentioned before, but I want to get other people listening to far too many as well, so it's not all that bad, and I feel as though, I'm not terrible. In all seriousness, though, there is an excellent podcast that I would like to recommend. It's, if you go look at the podcasts, you'll probably have seen it, because it's often one of the highest rated ones in terms of the amount of people who have downloaded it. It is one of the only podcasts that costs money, though, which is an unfortunate drawback, but for the small price that you do have to pay, it is excellent. It is really, really good. It is the Ricky Gervais podcast. Now, obviously Ricky Gervais is a now well-known English comedian who was the creator of the TV shows The Office, Extras, things like that. He's done a couple of movies as well, like Ghost Town and The Invention of Lying, things like that. He's done quite well for himself. He's a pretty funny stand-up comedian as well. He's started hosting a lot of events in the US. In fact, I think he's just finished hosting the Golden Globes as I speak. So it's his name on the podcast because he's the big name, but it isn't really about him. The man it is about is Carl Pilkington, who is absolutely hilarious. Now, Carl Pilkington is a Mancunian like me. We're both well, at least I was born in Manchester. He was properly raised there, and he has a very interesting view of the world, and it's really hard to explain, but you just have to hear it to understand. He just thinks about things very, very differently, and he's I suppose what you would call common working class. I'm sure he would identify himself as that, and certainly he's there sat with two more, I'd say, middle class people, in Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, who some of you may know played Ricky Gervais's agent in Extras. He also helped write and direct The Office. He's been involved with lots of Ricky Gervais's things, and so basically it's Steve Merchant, Ricky Gervais and Carl Pilkington all sat in a room, and they talk about subjects like what is it to be an English person. They talk about philosophy, science, the human body. They go through all these different subjects, and they get Carl's views, but Carl is just, it has to be heard for you to understand. Like you don't have to go get the podcast, obviously, because they cost money initially. It is possible to get some free samples if you do type in the Ricky Gervais podcast onto iTunes. You can you can get for free 10-minute samples from each of them and other stuff that they've done from a few years back. Just listen to it for yourself. It's an absolute riot. Also, you can actually look it up on YouTube. There are a couple of clips of it there. Absolutely brilliant. Really, really worth doing it. I'm currently working my way through them, and they're just absolutely hilarious. So that would be my recommendation to you today. Obviously, it's a recommendation. Feel free to ignore me. Okay, that is it for today. I'll be back with another Daily Splat tomorrow. Until then, ta-ra!